came to win, I don't mean to offend. The greatest on the mic, mightiest with the pen. Losing never been a choice, but a line is a sin. Ascend in word, been in verse, birthed in the gym. Akin to the best, never aiming for less. Opposition so foul, got me calling for rest. Who's next to get bested? Mind, soul, and flesh is antithesis of mess. It's the verse is supreme. So long, you better catch a God, throw him the scenes. Dreams manifested, you get what I mean. God always had a plan, he created for me. Success only means that I did what he seen. Got the game and the fans locked in like a key. Sitting on the throne with a crown, I'm a king. Sitting on the throne with a crown, I'm a king. Yeah, I think we got one.
Hello and welcome back to the Knight&Craig show. We are here today in this holiday season. You might recognize my cousin's ugly sweater. I don't even know if he really wants to show the whole thing, but it is a whole body of something. Welcome, cousin. I think you're on mute.
Oh man, I was saying that it's a whole body of work.
It is a body of work, and so we are doing and focusing on this body of work as well. We're excited today. I don't know if you saw our last show, but our pre-launch show was about gratitude in November and the season of gratitude and Thanksgiving. And today we're going to keep that going with a special Christmas conversation about taking responsibility for the gift you give or you gave. Oh my goodness, as we were preparing for the show, we were like, how do we keep doing this? Yeah. And so I'm going to turn it over because the mic is hot today about this taking responsibility and the gifts that we give, the perpetuation of gifts that maybe we didn't mean to continue to give by not dealing with certain things in our life. So I'll pass this over to you, Craig. You can take first stab at this. Well, I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, we're going to start off with the hot one. Trauma is the gift that keeps on giving. And that one popped up during our strategy session talking about the show because really we get stuck in the holidays with what do we want to do? What can I do? What can I do? And, spend on my kids, what can I not spend on my kids? What can I spend on my spouse? Blah, 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 all that stuff. And the reality is, December 25th wasn't even the day that Jesus was born anyway, because the traditional calendar system that we use right now wasn't even invented. So who in the world chose the 25th of December anyway? And don't get me started on what Thanksgiving really means or does. We're not gonna go back there. We're gonna keep it moving, right?
You are like in deep already. I don't even know. Okay, just keep going.
Yeah. So I want to make sure we deal with the gifts that we actually are giving to ourselves and we're giving to other people. And like the original, I'm gonna put that slide back up here because the important part is we need to take responsibility for the gifts that we give and you give to people and we get from people. And someone let my dogs out of here. I'm not quite sure why they did that, but the song says, "Who let the dogs out?" One of my sons did, and they run all over my office. But we, in keeping responsibility for it, when we give our attitude and our mindset and how we even thought about holidays, what we're giving to people, we need to take responsibility for that and not be so concerned about what's in the box from a monetary standpoint, but we need to make sure we're in these boxes from an emotional and a mental and a spiritual standpoint. What are we giving? What are we getting? Because it makes a huge difference as compared to I gave you a shirt or an ugly sweater or whatever. It makes a difference.
Yeah, it absolutely does. In previous conversations and in conversations that we've had more recently as we're coming into Christmas and the season of giving, there are certain people who don't even celebrate the season in that way. And I'm not going to go as far as to say that I don't believe that giving a gift to represent my love or my affection for my family members is wrong. However, I've had to redefine what those gifts are because of what you just said. I realized that I was giving sometimes out of obligation, out of tradition, And you tried to catch me up one time. You were like, oh, she said don't give gifts. No, I'm not saying don't give gifts. I'm saying know why you're giving the gift. And I think sometimes the emotional baggage that we carry
Yeah.
sometimes with the gifts that we're giving through that obligation or through that tradition, it diminishes the meaning. It,
Yeah.
it diminishes the meaning because I'm giving not from a place of joy, not from a place of gratitude, not from a place of true appreciation. It's more out of fear, and it becomes convoluted with, well, what are they going to think about this gift? Well, if it's a gift, you say thank you.
Right.
And so that lets me know that sometimes we don't appreciate the value of what we are giving. And also I think about when we do that to ourselves, where we become in debt to ourselves and others. And that's not the purpose of giving a gift. So then we got to go to, are you reaping what you actually sowed?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that perpetuation of that. So this is interesting.
I love it, and I wish I had brought that picture up. In fact, I might try to load it into the environment. I'll show it later on because there's a
Hmm.
social media picture I saw about this girl sitting with two parents, and it's funny even with that picture itself. It's it's an odd travesty about our community itself because right now we don't have a lot of two-parent families, and we have a lot of people just making what their own definitions of family really are. But that's a whole
Yes.
different show on itself. But the caption was, "Why are we extra special this year or today than any other day?" And we I don't even know if it's really the marketing people, because yeah, I have a clothing line I'm trying to sell too, but I don't need to try to sell it any more at a Christmas time than any other day. If
Yeah.
we spent the same amount of effort, financial
Hmm.
currency, and emotional currency, and
Hmm.
spiritual currency
Hmm.
daily with our family, daily with our significant others, daily with our loved ones, we
Hmm.
wouldn't have to spend the same amount of money financially and feel some kind of way whether we did or not spend it financially to someone
Hmm.
to tell them that we or express to them a certain love that we have for them, when in reality, in so many cases, it's fraud anyway because
Hmm.
we don't have the same type of time and emotional currency that we're spending with them daily. Why would I want to
Hmm.
tell someone I love them by giving them a gift? What gift is
Hmm.
that giving them to give to the next person? If my love language then isn't gifts,
Yeah.
gift giving and receiving of stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
What if my love language was quality time or um words of affirmation? Do we give
Right.
those gifts of our words to our family, our loved ones regularly, or are we only giving them at Christmas time or when it's well, I'm sorry, I don't even really even turn it this way so early, Shell. Why does it even take trauma or loss for us to become the people and give the gifts that we really should to people, which is to be the best version of ourselves? We should be
Right.
our best or striving there every moment of every day.
Right. So
Two
you know
things.
what this means. Two
Hmm.
things. Two things. We are definitely going to have a conversation around that little girls table. And I was sharing with my husband, Steve, excuse me. Let me just let the world know something real quick. I call him Steven. His mother calls him Steven. He prefers to be called Steve. So I've learned that when I talk about him through my words. Oh, Stephen said this or Stephen said that.
Mhm.
And so in some ways it may seem like I'm giving people permission to call him Stephen, and I'm not. So that's his name, but he prefers Steve. Okay, so talking about Big Daddy, let's go there. And y'all better not be calling him Big Daddy.
I was
But
gonna
we're
say
talking about
his mama call him Steven, his wife call him Big Daddy. I'm gonna call him Steve.
right. So I'm talking with Steve, and I was talking about my having been a single mother, a single parent, not a single mother, a single parent,
Mhm.
divorced and raised my two boys um, in our home on my own. Yes, I had a village, so I'm not discounting anybody. And I'm gonna stop doing those disclaimers too, because if you know me, then you know I appreciate what you did for me in my time of need. So, pampa to all the people. That's my gift of gratitude to you. At the same time, I was saying that at some point, there became a masculine presence or a masculine energy that I felt I needed to embrace because I was raising two boys.
Yeah.
And so then when I married him, and he was the masculine energy and he was the father in the home, there was still that lingering presence that I was in control. So it's about submission when you have the right man at the head of your home and all that type of thing. So that was number one. We're going to get back to that because that table is absolutely skewed, and we're mothers have or mothers and women have taken on an energy that we don't necessarily need to own when we can find our place in submission. So that was number one. Episode number 50. I don't know. Number two is when you're talking about the gift that we should be giving, and we talked about, faith is a gift, but do we open it? You talked about is it what we expected and all that type of thing. I think about forgiveness as being a gift also.
Yeah.
I think about the fact that when we do have those traumatic experiences, why does it take trauma to bring families together? You notice people typically come together if your family's estranged at all during funerals and maybe weddings, but mostly funerals. You're like, oh, we need to do this more often. But at the core of that sometimes is forgiving what has been said, what has been done that created that distance. It's forgiving ourselves for what we thought, but we didn't speak, for not having those conversations. And that is also a perpetuation of trauma, reliving trauma, and compounded trauma when it comes to this season, because we're like, we should be happy, we should be giving, but there's something that's holding us back. And that's something that oftentimes is holding us back is the forgiveness as a gift as well.
Yeah, it's a gift. And the one I wanted to share too is which relates to that is faith is a gift, but do we open it? And the piece, because you touched on that part, but does it look like what you expected? Because often in our lives, when the Lord blesses us with something, we get a gift from Him. We don't even recognize, like, what is this? This is not. Case in point, I used to call him cheap because he called himself cheap. So if he called him cheap,
Uncle Johnny was not cheap.
Trust me, frugal was a whole new definition that had his face beside it in not just Merriam-Webster, but in the Old English Dictionary. But
you're not gonna keep talking about my people, but that's okay.
I have to tell the truth and shame the devil. But here's a different perspective on dealing with them and the view of them. As a kid, if he says make a list of what you want and you make a list, you don't get exactly what you got, but you got some reasonable facsimile. That's really what God does with our faith and what He blesses us with. He gives us what He sees fit that looks similar to what you asked for, but it's in the purest form of what's good for us. We may not actually understand that gift is really good until we kind of pull back our selfishness and our own expectations and realize, it still performs like I asked for. In fact, even better, because the cost for it is less, because I don't now have to worry about paying something extra to possess it. If that makes sense, because I don't want to have a faith that's based on money or a faith that's based on someone else. I need a faith that's based upon God, because He never fails. So I'm not going to put my faith in other people, because some of us only have faith when we have money in our pocket or money in our bank. We only have faith and belief that in ourselves, if we have someone standing behind us, cheering us on, routing, shouting our name in positivity and encouragement. When in reality, we have to encourage ourselves so often to get out of bed, to do the next thing, to take the next. If breathing wasn't involuntary, some of us would be too depressed to even do that. So we need to be able to continue to move forward because we want to, because we see the need in it, because we see the good. And like we talked about in previous episodes, we need to look at our value and have a greater sense of worth based on the value that's already placed upon our lives. And if we don't take that, even open up that gift of value and worth for ourselves, the junk that we give other people is always going to be worthless.
Yeah, you said it. It's the junk that we give other people, and sometimes we know it, sometimes we don't. I want to go back to what you said about the gift in terms of it being a facsimile of something else that it may resemble. But part of the problem, real life, is happening right now. Just 1 second. In a show. So the thing is that sometimes we're not ready
No.
for the thing that, or the gift that we think we deserve. So when you ask, like, does it look like
Yeah.
what you expected, or does it look like what I expected?
Yeah.
I'm learning that whatever is promised to me is always going to be better than what I thought, because I can't. I can dream big, and I'm dreaming bigger, but I can't dream as big as who I believe is the creator will allow for me.
Yeah.
So, Craig, you won't believe this.
What's that?
It says that so we have a award ceremony for Caitlin. She's on honor roll, and he's sending me a message that they're starting, but he doesn't know that it's two different shows, that it's two different times. So we both had interruptions with kids today,
Oh,
and
man.
so
Those are gifts.
anyway, they are a gift. But sometimes we're not ready for the thing that we think that we deserve, or what we sowed in order to reap. And sometimes what we get in the meantime is exactly what we need when we can see it in that way. I have a quote that says something like, it's not, it may not be it, but it's preparing you for it, right? This that you're going through right now, or this gift that you receive right now, may not be what you think about in your biggest, fondest dreams. But if we can't take care of this small thing, or this thing that is in preparation for it, then are we really ready for that other thing?
You know,
And
it's
how do
funny.
we get ready?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, the two. Now you're gonna give me two things.
All right, do it.
Just yesterday. Well, by the time this airs, it won't be. It will have been several yesterdays ago. But I just did a post. I was cleaning out the printer, and the topic was, we need to make sure that we stay ready, so we don't have to go and get ready, because we don't really know what's going to happen in our lives. It's going to require our attention, or in my case, doing print for apparel and things. If my machine is not ready, if I don't have ink on deck, I won't be able to necessarily do the large orders, or there may be an order delay because I'm not ready. And it's really important that we look at that in our lives. And as a part of being ready and looking at what gifts look like, we need to be ready to understand what a gift is, because we just talked about, certain gifts are not gifts to us. Some gifts are looked at as burdens, or like, what'd you give me this for? I didn't ask for this. Because when you mentioned we both had, gifts with children in real life going on, to be completely transparent, I have 5 sons, and a lot of, the Bible says that children are a gift, and in even certain cultures, male sons are looked at even at higher esteem than having daughters, right? But
all my life I had to fight.
You know what I'm saying? That was my favorite quote. I had to fight my dad. I'm sorry, we're gonna quote it.
Sincerely.
It was up until very recent time. Now, I've been a father since 2001, but I don't think I've become a dad until recently. And there is a huge difference between being a father, because you can father a child, and you can, have sex, or have your sperm, put together with an egg, and then you can become a parent, a father, in my case, right? But being a dad is different. That means you actually care beyond obligation, because there's a different. Well, what do you mean? Well, yeah, I'm obligated to you legally to take care of you and your health and well-being, and going to pick you up when you're sick, and all these wonderful things. Feeding you, giving you at least a house over your roof over your head. Doesn't have to be a warm house, but at least it's a roof over your head, right? And there's certain things legally, otherwise CPS could come and take not just them away, but can take me away as well. So But when you start doing that because you genuinely have a concern, and not from a concern that, oh, I'm gonna go get that child, crazy little child, and lock them up myself. No, but a loving, a God loving, agape love for them and for where they are and what they're doing. That takes a dad, that takes a mom, because you don't have to just do that. The kids didn't ask to come here.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It was a moment of, some of us, moment of weakness. Some of people were raped. And
I'll pay for that later.
I'll pay for that later. Because kids on credit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
those deductions come directly out of your checking account, savings account, or whatever account you got. They coming. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the proverb says, we coming. So,
Yeah.
but you have to look at them as the gifts that they are, and they may not
Yes.
always be the gifts that we wanted. For dads, it may be an ugly tie or an ugly sweater or an ugly Christmas shirt like I'm
Hmm.
wearing right now, but they truly are gifts in and of themselves.
Yeah.
And if we don't actually mature those gifts, they
Hmm.
become traumatic gifts that keep given to the world and
Hmm.
in a generation of children after them that have that
Perpetuity.
same that
Hmm.
perpetuity of people that don't believe that they're loved, don't believe that they were cared for, don't believe that they were smart, and a lot of other things that they believe that they're not. And we talked about faith earlier, right? That faith is a gift that keeps
Hmm.
on giving. So if we give our children the gift of being unloved,
Yes.
that's a gift in itself that can destroy generation after generation after generation of people's bloodlines, and we don't need to do that.
No. So many thoughts. So I was thinking about when I was a kid and I was growing up, my mom would always talk about the comparison
Mhm.
between that she experienced with her siblings. I would blanket that.
Yeah.
And how in her mind, she could only be smart because she was like your dad. She was like
Mhm.
Uncle Johnny. She could only be smart, and that's what she thought made made not only made her special, but the only gift that she had.
Mm.
She could never be beautiful. She could never have long hair. She could never be fair skinned. She could never be any of these other things. And so
Mm.
some of those things naturally and physically we know are not possible. You're the shade that you are, and that's what it is, unless you spend a lot of money to change that. But
Sure.
she only thought that she had one gift, and that gift was to be smart.
Yeah.
And so in some way, even though I was told, oh, you're beautiful, you have long hair like your sisters, the positive things, the opposite of her.
Yeah.
For her, what she really focused on with me, in my opinion, was, or my lived experience may not have even been conscious for her, was that no, beauty is not important. Why do you want to wear makeup? Why do you want to do this? Why do
Yeah.
you need to dress like that? Well,
Yeah.
why does this boy like you? And so, in some
Mm.
way, her traumatic experience was shaping my confidence, was
Yeah.
shaping my self esteem. Now, as an
Mhm.
adult, I know, as our dear friend Cat Williams says, self esteem is mine. It belongs to me. I don't use the B word, but it belongs to me. I knew that as I grew older and had some
Yeah.
different experiences. But
Sure.
to your point, what we tell our children and what they see in us, our actions actually speak louder than words a lot of times. And so this responsibility is ours to own those actions as a gift that we can give from ourselves. But our actions often speak louder than our words. So no matter what she was telling me, somewhere subconsciously, I started to adapt or adopt to that I can only be this one thing. And for those of you who know me and Craig now, it's like, how many things do y'all have going on? When do you sleep? So it
Yeah.
wasn't about the activity of the thing. It was about building the confidence that whatever I put my mind to, I'm capable of doing that and
Yeah.
not only this, and using that as a limiting belief to keep me locked in this box that was never intended for me. It was never intended for her either. But we have to break out of those things and break out of those cycles and give the gift of truth and stop living in the lie that we're only good for one thing. We're
Mm.
not. We're good for so much more.
It's funny when you were talking. I just had this vision of actually being locked in a dark box
Mm,
where the top, is we're waiting for someone to open it so you can see the light. You know,
hmm.
because that's really where we find ourselves. We allow ourselves to be trapped in boxes that other people place us in. And
Absolutely.
so
Yeah.
often people place us in those boxes and forget about us.
Mm,
And if we allow ourselves to stay in those boxes for so long, we forget what the light looks like. We
yeah.
forget what being better can be. We forget about even the possibility because we're in a little tiny box. Sometimes
Yeah.
it's a big box where we're in. It's just us. But and I would imagine that many of us have wrapped gifts before,
Hmm.
and gifts are only held together and held close by real flimsy Scotch tape
Mm-hmm.
and some flimsy little paper, Christmas paper.
Mm-hmm.
If we just stood up, we would break out of those boxes
Mm-hmm.
and allow ourselves to be who we are, not what someone else wants us to be. And I think
Mm-hmm.
in that in itself is a gift. We should give that gift of confidence and belief in ourselves and belief in who we
Sure.
can be and belief in the possibilities of ourselves. We need to give that gift to us
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
first and give that to ourselves daily and live every day like that was Christmas. Because if
Mm-hmm.
we lived that way,
Mm-hmm.
believing that every day that I was worth it, every day that I
Yeah.
was blessed, every day I was more than good enough, not good enough for anyone else,
Mm-hmm.
for me, then it would help us get off those X's of poor self-esteem.
Mm-hmm.
Get off the
Mm-hmm.
X's of just I can't do it because I'm ugly or I'm not good enough. I'm too short. And I get it. I wish it was a little bit taller, but I get it. Wish there was a ball. I mean, that's a whole different story. But we've gotta be we've gotta be who we I don't want to say are because some folks don't like who we are. But
Wait,
there's
some folks don't like who they are like.
who they are.
Okay, because I'm like that's another X too, is like you don't get to define who I am.
Right, true.
But
Fact.
so many times we give people permission to do that in the box that they lived in, and they're at the bottom of the abyss. And so we
Yeah.
start living the way that they're living because they told us that's how we should live. So I wanted to be clarified.
Well, no,
Okay.
no, I appreciate the clarity. It's just if we can understand that if we don't like the box we're in, get out of it.
Yeah.
Get off the
Yeah.
X. Don't it
Mm-hmm.
the victim mentality is over, but we don't have to allow anyone else to be the one that the reason why we're here in the box. Well, I'm this way because so and so said so.
Yeah.
Be anything you
Yeah.
want and change the narrative and give that gift to yourself and give that gift away to everyone else that you come in contact with, even if they don't think they know it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
As you and I have conversations and working on this show, you and I don't give
Mm-hmm.
you and I give each other the gift of freedom and being able to expand and look at the positivity. We don't hold each
Mm-hmm.
other back with, well, we can't do that. Well, we're the ones setting the rules for ourselves
Yeah.
and for this show and for our lives. Give ourselves that gift of freedom.
Yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of the podcasts that I've done for Night Consulting, or for Legacy Institute, then I always end with give yourself the same grace that you give others,
Okay.
because a lot of times we are the reason that that we're being held back, and it takes identifying that as, yeah, this I have been a victim of something,
Mhm.
but that also doesn't get to, it may shape me in this moment, but it doesn't get to control me.
Right.
And for me personally, when I had been victimized, it was going through that forgiveness process that I know we're going to be talking about in the next season, but going through those steps
Mhm.
and giving myself the permission to love me beyond what happened to me, and understanding that
Yeah.
no matter what I contributed to, I did not sow into being abused. That wasn't my intent, even if that was the outcome. So I had to forgive myself and give myself that gift and forgive the other person, realizing, okay, well, you did this for a reason. But then my psychology brain clicks in, and I'm like, it goes back to the hurt people type of
Yeah.
thing. And so
Yeah.
if we continue to perpetuate the negativity,
Yeah.
if we continue to perpetuate the story that we're telling ourselves, my Crucial Conversations
Yeah.
book is going through my brain as well, the path of action, what we saw or heard, ultimately the stories created this emotion is around it. And now we're behaving in a way, that behavior that now is an outcome of what we saw or what we heard or what we told ourselves even, is also perpetuating negativity if that story is not based on fact,
Yeah.
if it's not based on truth, if it's based on my perception.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we say perception is reality. Well, yeah, that's true, if that's what you believe. But what we see and what we experience, there's multiple ways to skin a cat, as they say. And if we only choose to think about the negative, and that's what we choose to behave, that's what we choose as our action, that's what we choose to show others about who we are, not just what we've done,
Yeah.
we're guilty. of hindering our own success and hindering our own future and getting out of that box that again somebody else put us in and we called it home.
You know, it's funny. I was thinking to myself, what does this kind of gift giving look like to me? I remember growing up. I know you keep saying you're not gonna keep talking about my Aunt Eunice and Uncle Johnny this way, but
I know
I'm gonna tell you the
I'm
truth.
gonna get better because you don't do that to me when I talk about my mom, but I think it's because you know the truth about my mom.
Well, um,
She gonna get us.
my mama say, you know, everybody's truth is still true, right? Your
Yeah,
experiences
yeah,
with her is true. My experiences with her are true, and we just have different experiences. But when I call
yeah,
your mom, sidebar, when I call your mom, I'm usually looking for I need some biblical truth. So I draw on that intelligent
man,
side of
for
her.
days.
I draw on that revelation, scholar side, which she's definitely one of
Yes,
the foremost scholars on the book of Revelation. So I'm calling on her for these deep things that I'm struggling with. I'm like, Aunt Louise, I got some I got some trouble. She goes, oh boy, when you call me, it's gonna be okay. Hold on, let me get my chair. Hold on to some coffee.
let me
So
get some coffee.
yeah. So we talk through
That's
that
my
way.
mama.
But when
Yeah.
I'm on this side with my mom and them,
Mm-hmm.
I remember holidays at my house. I'm not gonna say they're horrible, so I'm not gonna say like that.
Okay.
One side of the experience was horrible, was traumatic, because
Okay.
all my mom really was trying to do on the singular perspective was, I want to clean, I want to show, I want to clean, I want to show what we have, I'm gonna clean, I'm gonna show, I'm gonna show, I'm gonna highlight what we got. So the prep
Mm,
work for that was a certain level of cleanliness wasn't good enough. It had to be amplified, and
mm-hmm.
there wasn't the wonderful spirit of the holidays being used to get us there. It was a lot of, you know, stick, not the carrot,
Yeah.
to get us there.
Mm-hmm.
But yet when
Mm-hmm.
the people arrived, it was all this carrot, and I was like, okay, you
Mm-hmm.
just popped me in the head four or five times with that stick. Or also, her thing was the pinching, right? So I got a lot of
Mm,
pinches to get to this point. I don't want anything to do with you from a holiday perspective. But what's the joy in the giving? I don't.
got it.
I'm that dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're gonna discipline me a whole lot to get me to this point where I'm supposed to show happiness and joy, and I don't have no happiness because I don't
Mm-hmm.
there was no joy getting there. And I
And then when we
found,
get there for dinner, then you got to smile,
oh yeah,
right? And you have to, yeah, yeah, I get it.
but
I
be
get that.
seen and not heard. So smile,
Mm-hmm.
go to your room, take your, cousins and your friends to your room and get out the way. But
Mm-hmm.
but I have to look at the other side of it, right? That she was
Mm-hmm.
really
Mm-hmm.
trying to get things clean and prepped and ready to receive folks that she loved, because she
Yeah.
loved the gathering. She loved the
Yeah.
party. She loved that community aspect. But
Mm-hmm.
as a kid, it felt disingenuous to me on one
Mm-hmm.
side,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm
Mm-hmm.
not saying she wasn't there for me, because she was always there. She was always,
Yeah, yeah. No, your mom
it,
is
it
great.
was, but as a kid, we see it different.
Yes,
And I felt
absolutely.
just this year for the first time, because I love Christmas. Christmas was my thing, was my jam, right?
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm.
felt the whole Eunice Carlisle come out, where I was yelling and screaming at my boys to get the Christmas decorations set. So when Shane came into town,
Oh,
I didn't want him, and his girl to have to worry about helping us decorate. I wanted them to walk in and have it already done.
no, yeah.
But it didn't get done. I found myself to be super angry about it. And I was like, well, screw it. I didn't even screw it. It's a different word. Let's still end it with it. So I said, I'm not going to worry about, Christmas. And if they don't want Christmas decorations in the house, I'm not going to worry about Christmas decorations. I'm going to give the people what they want. So if they wanted just what little decorations are out, I'm cool with that, because the decorations aren't what Christmas are about. It's supposed to be about the time spent. We spent time playing board games,
Yeah.
and we can play board games in the house without decorations all year
Mm-hmm.
long. Why
Mm-hmm.
does it take decorations and board games to make Christmas or Thanksgiving special? So,
Mm-hmm.
but what I am gonna have done is these empty boxes or these boxes of decorations that are yet to be put out. They're gonna get
Mm-hmm.
them out of my shop because they're in the way. They're gonna go back up to the attic. So, but if someone else wants to go get them and put them out, that's great. But I'm going to give my sons the gift of forgiveness and patience and let them have the space that they need. If this is what they want for this year, that's fine. Because if they just want the gift of the time spent, I'm gonna give
Mm-hmm.
that. But the portions of the decorations that I want to give myself, I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna do them myself,
Okay, that's what I
and
was waiting to
and
hear.
yeah, and not hold it against them for what they
Yes,
didn't do. So I'm gonna give
yes.
them that gift of forgiveness. I'm gonna give them the gift of their own space and time. I'm gonna give them the gift of answering, do you really, and I'm gonna ask them, do you really want decorations this year or not? And those who
Or
do want them,
what decorations do
what
you want,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Because you want it, that open-ended question gives them
yep,
space not only to say yes or no, because the
yep,
next question, if you say no, might be why.
right,
And then that creates a whole nother thing. But if you
mhm,
say, what decorations do you want? And then they might say, well, Dad, I really don't want any decorations because of da 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 da. But
right,
it gives them that open-ended
yep,
opens up the dialogue
yeah.
actually.
Oh yeah, because what I don't want to give them is the gift of a falsehood and fraud. And why are we extra thankful on this day when the
Yeah.
whole rest of the time you don't take the time? Because we have the time to give. Even
Hmm.
if we work 2 jobs or 3 jobs, we
Yeah.
have the time. We just don't
Yeah.
make it.
People get mad at me when I say that. I'm like, there are 24 hours in a day. What are you doing with your time? That's not in judgment. That's to say, don't tell me you don't have time to do something. It's the priority that you're giving this other thing over this thing that it may be more important to you. But say
Yeah,
that. Don't
yeah,
lie to me. Like, don't lie.
yeah,
Don't say you don't have time because you do.
yeah,
And let's say time gets away and there's something that you want to do that gets pushed to another day because you chose to make this a priority. Well, then make this the number one priority tomorrow if it's that important to you. Um, but yeah, so many times we hold people hostage with that, and I think it's an excuse instead of a reason. And I had a teacher one time, I think it was a PA teacher, said, I'm here for all the reasons. Don't give me an excuse. He
right.
said, "There's a reason why something happens," and I've adopted that in my life. I have to be honest about where I am, and I told my sons many years ago. I said, "I'm not buying you guys clothes anymore.
Yeah,
My style that I like for you may be a little dated, may be a little bit how I want to see my sons, preppy and how they used to look, kind
yeah,
of a thing. And
yeah,
it's not that they don't have a nice style, but when I go out and buy, that's what I'm looking at. I'm looking at my style for them. And so my my feelings got hurt the first couple times that I
yeah,
bought them some shoes from Burlington instead of from Foot Locker.
yeah,
Okay. And it was the same brand. It was still Nikes, but I guess it was last season's, whatever.
sure.
So I'm like coming home, like, why I got these shoes? Do you know these things sat in the closet? They did not wear them. It was almost like they were on strike.
Yeah,
And then had the nerve to say, I don't have any shoes. Oh, but wait a minute. I bought you shoes for Christmas. Where are those? Mom, well, so then I said, I'm not buying you no more shoes. I'm
right.
not buying any more clothes. I will give you money. So we talk about the roof over the head or the
Yeah,
facsimile of whatever it is. You can go out and buy your own thing, right? I
yeah,
want you to. The point is that I want to always give from a pure place, and
right,
I don't want to be angry that you're not using the gift that I supposedly gave to you from this
right,
thing,
right.
from within me to say that I truly want you to have it. So I have other people in my life that said, well, gift cards are not personal.
It
I'm
came out
like,
of my personal account. It's personal.
well, not only that, it gives the person who's giving the gift. If I know, like my mom mentioned, she likes DSW, right?
Mm,
So if I know that that's what she likes is a particular store, and then she can go in to that store and get
mm,
exactly what she wants, to me that's a win because
right,
that's a gift that I'm giving based on what I know she will use, what she will appreciate, not something that a version of me that I want her to do. Because if it was me, I'd be like, let's go shopping together
right.
and try some stuff on and be in that moment together of that quality time and the gift. Oh my God, we get two love languages going, you
Yeah,
know? But
yeah,
that's not her. So I have to honor and respect our differences. And that doesn't mean she hates me and I hate her. It means
Mm.
we're different, and there's beauty in that. So I think as much as we talk about gift giving, I think it's important to know the person that you're giving to and what would be appropriate, what would they actually appreciate, and not put my stuff on you. That goes back to the trauma too.
I think, and I wish I could find the link quickly, but there's a link out there that talks about the love languages and 5 love languages, and
Hmm.
there's an assessment. In fact, they've got some new assessment. They've changed it
I can
since then.
provide that for us. Yeah.
Oh, sweet! If you don't
Hmm.
mind,
Hmm.
we'll put it out on our socials this, leading into the Christmas season, because we should really give ourselves the gift of what our love language is, so we understand how we are naturally communicating to people, and then
Yeah.
I encourage all of the people in your family and the loved ones, especially those who live in your homes, to really then give that link as a gift to your family members so they can take the assessments too and find out what their love languages are, because then you can communicate to each other using those languages, because then
Yeah.
communication becomes true communication, or I should say language becomes communication,
True
because
communication.
communication is a
Hmm.
point where the language and the words and the emotions and the behaviors that are done become something that are understood clearly and not misunderstood. So we need to give those gifts to each other this season, with our time, with our
Yeah.
talents, and the treasures. Yes, for those who have those different love languages, we need to give them
Hmm.
and be excited about them, but not give grudgingly, like, oh, your gift, your love language is quality time. So here I'm gonna sit with you, but I'm gonna be on my phone. I'm not gonna be present with you because I'm just gonna be here and
Yeah.
there.
No.
It
You know
just
what
don't.
else?
What's that?
You know what else though with that is like I don't have to take it personal that
Right,
that is your love language, you
right.
know?
Because
And
it's
then
not
I
like
can
me.
decide what I want to give in your love language, like the amount of time perhaps. Hey, I
Yeah,
got 1 hour, I want to make this the best 1 hour with us, or what
right.
have you, or if it's
Yeah.
words of affirmation, just simply saying thank you, I appreciate you, or what you're grateful for. So I wanted to interject that it's not about
No,
me.
no. I
It's
know.
actually giving is about what the other person is receiving as much as it is about my attitude in what I'm giving, right? And
I
why.
think we should also give these types of gifts all year long.
Yep.
365 days a year, but if you're the leap years, 366, however you live your life, you should be giving these gifts to yourself and to the people around you. They don't have to just be family. They could be
Yeah.
friends or coworkers. So don't, trust me. Some of our folks that deal with customers, you need to
Yeah.
give these customers as well. Give them gifts of grace, gifts of
Yeah.
favor, gifts of peace, gifts of joy, eh, because you're worth it, and we need them, but so do
Hmm.
other people. So as we spend our time in our holiday season going into the new year, we really need to spend the time doing that, reflecting upon that, because I tell you, it's
Hmm.
so much better for our life, so much better for our world if we are
Hmm.
giving each other the gifts of healing emotionally
Yeah.
and spiritually, and then naturally our physical healing will follow. Shall take
Hmm.
us with give us a last thought as we really end our Christmas segment with what's really on your heart. What do you want us to know?
Yeah, I love the part about giving love. As corny as that sounds,
Yeah,
everybody needs that. Everybody wants to We're wired to connect people.
yeah,
Everyone wants to feel like who they are is unique and that they belong in some space in this world. And so sometimes a smile, as simple as smiling,
yeah.
someone, who we don't know, sometimes we're in the store and we may say good morning or hey, how you doing? And the person doesn't say anything. Smile is the only thing that is a universal language it's a universal language all around the world. A
Yep.
smile means a genuine smile, not a grimace, not a grudging smile, but a true, like, show your teeth, however many you have. Smile lets a person know that you care,
Yeah.
lets them know that you see them. And so I'm going to practice smiling a whole lot more. That brings us back to gratitude and just being really grateful for all of you who are following us on our journey. This is Knight&Craig. This is going to be the last show of this season. And so we thank you for being a gift to us by being on us with this journey. Don't forget to follow us, like us, and when I say like us, I mean literally like on Instagram and on Facebook. Make sure that you like what you like, right? You may not like every conversation that we have, but those that you do, we want you to share and spread the wealth. If you have comments, questions, feedback, or show ideas, you can hit us up on Instagram and Facebook as well, but also email us at Knight&, make sure you spell out that and, Craig Show at gmail.com. Cousin, I'm grateful for you. Thank you for being my gift.
You're my gift too. And my funny shirt. See you all next time. Next year, next season.
See you next season.
Akin to win, I don't mean to offend. The greatest on the mic, mightiest with the pen. Losing never been a choice, but a line is the same. Ascending word, bending verse, birth in the gym. Akin to the best, never aiming for less. Opposition so foul, got me calling for rest. Who's next to get bested? Mind, soul, and flesh is antithesis of mess. It's the pressure so free. For long, better catch a God form to sing. Dreams manifested, you get what I mean? God always had a plan, he created for me. Success only means that I did what he seen. Got the game in the fans